my presenter screen only, right? Okay, I'm going to assume you can't read my notes with me. So my name is Hilary Webb. I'm joining you today in my role as a Systems and Technical Services Librarian at Emily Carr University of Art and Design. Emily Carr University and my home, where I'm calling in from today, is on the unceded traditional and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. Sorry. Whew, you think I wouldn't be nervous after so many years of doing presentations. One of my other roles, this is a little shameless promotion. One of my other roles is as a practicing artist. And if you're located in this place known as Vancouver, I invite you to visit myself and my studio mates this weekend for the East Side Culture Crawl. Our studio's on Gore Avenue at Georgia and Chinatown, and I'd love to see friendly faces there. So I proposed this topic originally as a lightning talk, and was asked if I could do it as a full workshop, which I agreed to, but it is truly a work in progress. So bear with me as we fumble through the technical aspects together. The largest group we've done this presentation or workshop with is a class of 20 students. So there will be a little bit of kind of like technical work to get the activity set up with, oh, there's 25 people. Okay, so it's not that bad. There was 40 before, and I thought that would be kind of hard. And don't be nervous that it's a drawing activity. I promise that it'll be fun. And we're going to be using Jamboard, and the drawings can be silly. It doesn't have to be, it's not a serious activity. Okay, let me switch my slide and to my notes. Okay, so the Emily Carr University of Art and Design Library caters to our 1,800 plus full-time equivalent students. So we are a very small school. The library's print media collections are focused primarily on contemporary art, media, and design, including art history, critical and cultural studies, design research, and other creative practices. Currently, the library offers information literacy instruction, lectures, and workshops and classes on an ad hoc basis. The library workshops are often interactive and custom tailored in consultation with faculty, and can include an introduction to the library and archives, the collections and services, concept mapping, and forming a vocabulary for searches, and search strategies in the library's catalog and databases. So probably pretty similar to what everyone else is doing. Some workshops feature specific parts of our collection, such as hands-on sessions with our renowned artist book collection. The workshops aim to maximize students' uses of the library and archives by arming them with the tools to find and analyze resources critical to not only their time with us at Emily Carr, but also their success as lifetime learners. On our team, there are 3 librarians and an archivist. We meet on a bi-weekly basis to discuss instruction and make goals and decisions together. Our collection, reference, and instruction librarian, Anna Diab, builds instruction modules with our based on our needs, and prepares documents, handouts, and slideshows to share with our faculty members and post to our website and LibGuides. Some of this preparation work is shared collaboratively with our librarian and archivist team, but regardless, we all share the resources to cut down on prep time. And we also have decided to share them with faculty so that they can use them if they don't want to invite us into their class for whatever reason. Currently, there are 3 goals in our information literacy plan that we're working towards. We have other ones that we work through, but these are the 3 that we are working on right now. So the first one is working with the Curriculum Planning and Review Committee of the institution to incorporate IL and concepts into all areas of the curriculum for all skill levels, resulting in expected learning outcomes for students. So that's a huge one. And we've been working on it for a few years, and we will continue to work on it. We are trying to scaffold our library research sessions for each skill level, and we want to embed information literacy into our studio courses. Our goal for library instruction is to be better integrated into curriculum as students move through their time at ECU. We are working towards scaffolding research instruction sessions so they build in complexity each semester. Student feedback on information literacy sessions, which we receive through assessment forums and informally in face-to-face interaction, indicates that our workshops are an essential support for student learning. Students reported that they learned invaluable skills for finding and accessing resources, using resources beyond social media and Google searches, and evaluating and citing resources. We've also heard from fourth-year students that they say that they wish they would have received library instruction workshops in their first year, which can be really frustrating for us to hear because uptake on the sessions typically, it totally depends on faculty members. And if they don't reach out to us, then we don't end up visiting their classes, which is why we're trying to integrate ourselves more successfully. We started the first stage of the scaffolding integration plan this year by partnering with the instructors of the Humanities 100 and 101 courses, which are mandatory for all first-year students. The library team gave two 15-minute long lectures in the two sections of the Hum 100 class this fall, which in theory should have reached all 400 plus students in first year. So in the second week of classes, we gave an introduction to the library. So basically it was me standing on a stage and talking about library services, library collections, and basically doing what I would have done in a tour of the library, but without 400 students walking through the library. And then in week 5, we presented about information bias. So introducing students to concepts of conscientious information use. And that lecture was given alongside teachings about power and ideology, which was a good fit. And then in the spring semester, we'll be giving 2 lectures of a similar length to support the 2 big writing assignments in the Hum 101 class, which is the development of an artist statement and an essay based on an exhibition. So the lectures we'll be giving will be an introduction to academic research and an introduction to creative research, including visual resource databases. For the spring semester first year in-class workshops, we'll be offering a hands-on concept mapping and keyword creation. So the collaborative drawing activity I'm going to do with you today was developed as the option to go alongside the 2 lectures we gave this fall. So this is for first year foundation students. The workshop is presented as an hour-long workshop, and it's either in person or online. The activity was developed out of a need to simplify what we are trying to fit into an hour-long lecture previously, which was likely too technical and information heavy to be helpful for first-year students. So the activity was created by my colleague, Anna Diab, and then through collaboration as a team, we refined the workshop together and developed a remote learning version that we'll be going through today. We further refined the workshop and tested it on our library team as well. And now you get to try it out and give me your feedback, which is wonderful. We're going to try to do 2 rounds of the exercise. And so what we're going to be working on, let's make that smaller. So we're going to be searching for and finding resources. The slides that I'm using are actually what we use in our class. So I'll try to explain how we're going to do this a little bit differently for this group today. But we're going to be searching for and finding resources and then collectively composing a drawing by combining the ideas with your peers' ideas and other resources. So when we present this workshop to our students, we'll do a search demo and explain to them how to use the discovery layer and explain where the results are coming from. And then we demonstrate how to find articles with full text for online workshops, or how to limit to physical items for in-person workshops. But for our workshop today, I needed to find a resource that we'd all have access to. So we're going to use the directory for open access journals to find our resources. And then the activity is collaborative drawing, and it's a method, which is a collection of words or images that is collectively assembled. So each collaborator adds to a composition in sequence, either by following a rule or being allowed to see only the end of what the previous person contributed. It started out as a exquisite corpse, being called that anyway, but a lot of students, I'm not sure if people are familiar with that, but that's when you'd fold a paper in different sections and then everyone does part of just one section and then you add to the section. But we wanted to leave this more open, so we've just called it collaborative drawing. Okay, so the first step is that we're going to open I'm going to show you Jamboard. And I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I'll just show you a couple of features so that you know what you're looking at. So the way that Jamboard works right now, there's one page. When we all jump in here, everyone needs their own page. So right now I see there's 27 participants. I don't think that I'll do it just so I'm available to troubleshoot with people. So we'll need 26, though there should be 26 pages after we've all taken a page of the Jamboard. So to create a new page, you just go forward. You use this arrow to go forward. And then on the side here, we've got the pen tool. You can change the color by and the size of the pen by holding on there. There's an eraser. You can select areas and move them around. I'm going to ask you to use the sticky note feature. So that's in the middle there. You can add images and shapes and text. And then the laser, I believe, disappears when you use it. So probably not the best tool. Okay, so that's Jamboard. I'm going to share the link with you, which I think is... Okay, but before you do anything, I'll share the link. And you can hop on there, but don't create new pages yet because I'm just going to explain the next steps. Okay, so here is the Jamboard link. Okay, so then I want each of you to, you can claim a page. So to do that, you would just, I don't know, you could just like draw a little thing on it or put your initials or make a mark on the page just so that you know it's claimed. And then if you're moving through to claim your own page, you would just use that forward arrow to claim your page. So if we want to do that first, and then I'll explain the next step, that would be great.
Sorry, Hillary.
Yeah.
You have it as view only.
Oh no. Yes, I do. Editor. Okay. Let's see if that changes it. Access updated. We should be good. And please, yeah, interrupt me. When we do this in person, obviously it's very different than remote. And we've figured out with the remote, if one participant doesn't understand and participate, it kind of messes it up for the person that goes after them. But I'm here for tech support. And then I'd also be really open to hearing feedback about how to make it a smoother process, or if anyone has any ideas of tools we could use other than Jamboard where it would be successful. But right now I'll just let you claim a page. I see there's been 12 pages made. And then I'll explain the next step just so that you can get started on the next step once you've claimed your page, which is to create a prompt and type it into the corner of the page with that text tool. And you can use the prompt as any emotion and then an object or animal from nature. We put starting with the same letter, but it doesn't have to be. So an emotion and something from nature. And that will be the drawing prompt for the person that moves to your page after you. Does anyone need help? Is everyone okay?
And we just have a question in the chat about how are we claiming our page once we have that?
It was just to make a mark on it so that someone knows that that page has already been taken. Just because there's no way to see who's on each page. So I'll give you a couple more minutes just to claim your page and put a prompt, which is an emotion and then something from nature. Oh, perfect. I see them. This is great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so on the page that you claimed, you can put, oh, there's some more things in the chat. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, we're good. Does anyone need more time? I see that there's been 20 pages made, and I think the first one's blank. So there are people, and it's okay if you don't want to participate. I think that's okay. But I'll move on just so we have time to get through if we're ready. Okay. Do you want me to show the instructions again?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so we're on the Jamboard page. Does everyone have the link in the chat? And then if you don't already have a page, then you want to use this right arrow at the top to navigate to a blank page. And then we're just putting in a prompt on the page that you've claimed, which is an emotion and an object from nature. And the prompt, you'll need to put a prompt so that the person after you has somewhere to start with their drawing. Okay, if everyone feels ready, I'm going to go back to my instructions here. So the next step is to use that right arrow to navigate to the next Jamboard page. So if you are on page 19, you're going to navigate to page 20. If you're on page 20, if you're the person at the end, you're going to go back to the first page that has a prompt on it. So you're going to navigate off of your prompt to the page where you put your prompt, and you're going to go to the next page by using that right arrow at the top. Go to the next frame. And then you're going to use that prompt to make a drawing inspired by that prompt. So I'll give you a few minutes here. So we're drawing on the other person's page. Yes. So the whole idea in this activity is that we're going to keep switching pages to add onto our colleague's page. So right now you're going to, from the page that you started and put your prompt, you're going to move one page to the right, one page forward. I'm still here. There'll be awkward silences as we do this and can't see each other. I should have put music or something, right? But I'll give you another minute and then we'll move on to the next step. Yes, Taylor Swift. How are folks feeling? Do you need another minute? I don't want to cut anyone off.
Yeah, I need to add a streamer.
Great. Does anyone need more time? Okay, we're going to move to the next step. So now you're going to navigate again to the next Jamboard page, remembering that the person at the end has to go back to the first one. And then I want you to look at the drawing that your colleague made. And the first word or concept that comes to mind, you can kind of keep that either in your head or you can type it on the page. So you're looking at the drawing that your colleague made, and you want to think of a keyword that we're going to use to do a search. Yeah, if there's no drawing, then you would want to just go to the next page. But keeping in mind that if you keep going forward, you're just going to hit blank pages. So if you're at the end, you would go back to the beginning. And hopefully everyone will land on their own page again. Maybe we'll end up collaboratively drawing on the same page. But ideally, you'd end up on your own page again. Just not your own page that you started with. Sorry, that's a really confusing way to put it. But like your own page that you can work from. And then once you have that term, we're going to go to the directory of open access journals. And I'll drop the link in the chat here. And I'll just show you briefly, because I realized that even though I do it with my students, I didn't do it with you. Just assuming that you'd know what you were doing when you arrived there. But what we're going to do is we're going to limit our search to articles. And then you can type in your search term. Oh, look, sad cat. And then we're going to do a search. Once you land on the results page, I want you to use the year of publication to limit to the most recent year available. This is where I wish I had two screens, one with my notes that reminds me to show you how to do the thing, and one with the Jamboard. But hopefully that makes sense. So you're going to the directory of open access journals. You're going to do a search with your keyword that you've thought of in articles. And then I want you to limit your results by the most recent year of publication. And then you're going to look through the results and find one that speaks to you. You can open it up. And what you're looking for on this page is the DOI URL. So the format is going to be https://doi.org and then the number, the DOI of the article.
What if my article doesn't have a DOI?
I mean, hopefully if you copied the URL,
Okay.
it would work for someone to find it again. Yeah, so we're just looking for, I guess, a URL. Cross-wrap. I mean, when we're doing it in with our classes, we're asking them to look for the permalink so that other people can find the article again. But I'm assuming actually with DOAJ that if you copy the URL, they should be able to find it again. And then once you have your article, I want you to add a sticky note to the page with the URL. So that's the next step. Perfect. Here, I'll put the instructions back up here. Does anyone have questions about that? It's okay. Does anyone need more time before we move on? Just give me a shout if you need more time. Okay, so once you've pasted that URL of the article you found, you're going to go back to the Jamboard page, and then you're going to go to the next person's page. So we're going to move forward one more. And again, if you're the last person, you have to go back to the beginning. So you're going to be switching to the next person's drawing, and then open up the URL that's on the page. Take a moment to skim through the article, and then you can respond to what you've learned by adding to the drawing. One more time. Okay, so after you've added the URL to the drawing, you're going to move forward one page. You're going to open the link that that person put on the page, and then look through the article, just skim through the article until you find something that it kind of inspires you, and then respond to that piece of information by adding to the drawing. I see in the chat that someone accidentally deleted the sticky. You might be able to undo, but we can be flexible as well. And you can just add to the drawing. You can imagine with a group of first-year students, the comedy of errors that happens when you're doing this online. And everyone has their cameras turned off. In the chat, Ali said that she's done jam boards with students who think that messing with the prompts and drawing inappropriate things is the best time ever. Which I could see. So right now you should be responding to this new article that you've found by adding to the drawing. Oops. I'll give you another minute and then I'll check in to see if people need more time. If anyone needs more time, can you let me know? Okay, I'm hearing no. And I'll also maybe, I'll also do check-in here. So we have two options. It's fun to do a second round, but if people are feeling antsy, we could also just do the reflection and debrief at this point. Maybe I could get like some thumbs up if you want to do another round, if people are feeling into it. Oh, I've got a thumbs up. Anyone else feel like they want to do another round? It should be faster the second time now that we've you have the lay of the land. I have two thumbs up. I feel like that's enough for me to go forward. 3 thumbs up. Okay, let's do it. Let's do another one. So fun. Okay, so now you're going to go to the next page and we're going to do the whole thing over again. So for example, if you're on page 2, you're going to go to page 3. But this time, oh, here, actually, I'm going to go back to my instructions. So we're going to go back to page 2. So this time we just have to do the second part, which is to look at the drawing again. Think of a keyword that inspires a keyword in you. And then you're going to do a search and then post the article for the new search that you've done. Does that make sense? So if you're on page 2, you can go to page 3, look at the drawings, see what's coming to mind as a keyword, do a search for the keyword, pick an article, and then post it. And because there's already, no, actually we'll leave both articles up because then you can choose between the 2 articles actually that are there. I'll give you another minute to find the article, the new article, and then we'll switch pages again. So ideally at this point, when you land on the new page, there should be 2 sticky notes with 2 different articles. And you can just pick one or the other. So as a reminder, the last step we're going to do is after you've pasted that new URL, you're going to move to the next Jamboard page, open up one of the articles, scan the text, and then add to that drawing. So I'm going to give you maybe 2 more minutes to do that, and then we'll wrap up by doing our reflection and debrief. And yes, I can flip through all of the drawings. It's kind of the best part.
Hillary, there's a really great question in the chat asking about how you encourage students to participate online in these situations when you have students who are maybe just wanting to show up and not engage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good question. So I've done the workshop twice in person and twice in an online class. What ends up happening, and I was going to talk about this a bit in the debrief, but what does end up happening is that if someone starts a page and then doesn't do the prompt or the first drawing, then it makes it hard for the person who goes after them because they don't have anything to work with. So I do explain up front that in order for it to really work for everyone has to participate. But obviously we can't make people participate, especially online. So it's almost better for the people who don't want to participate to not even start the process, because then it will kind of mess it up for the people after them. I feel like if people, I mean, it's more fun to engage and do the drawing, and it gives a more tangible result when we do the reflection. But if they want to just watch, I feel like it's still possible for them to learn through the metaphor of what we're doing and how it relates to research. I mean, it just is kind of sad when students don't want to participate. I mean, I'll talk about this a bit in the debrief as well, if that's okay. Just because I think what we're going to do is they'll probably cut out this part in the recording, and then so I can touch more on it later if we want to get into it more. Is everyone feeling okay if we wrap up? Does anyone need more time to finish their drawing? Oh, someone's still drawing. I see it. And I think that number 2 is the first page. So when you're ready, I can, I guess you could flip through the drawings yourselves, or you could come back to the Zoom screen and see my shared screen, and we can just flip through these amazing drawings. Okay, I'm going to start on page 2. And actually, I'll have to remember to take a note of this after, but I actually think it works really well when, and I'll need to remember this for when I do it with students, but to copy the title of the article. It's a different effect, I suppose. You could just look at the drawing and be amazed, or you could read what the text is and it gives you a different perspective of what you're looking at. Okay, I'm gonna flip. Oh yeah, look at this. These are amazing. And I have to say that even with our art school students, it's very similar drawing style, just because Jamboard is, I don't know, it's not like a fancy drawing program. I'm really impressed. These are great. Hold on a sec. What did that say? Truly disappointed flower. Oh. These are great. Thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. Okay, so, oh, there was all these chats. Great. Amazing. So when we're in the classroom, these are the reflection questions that we ask our students. So how do you find the experience of adapting your work? How did you find the experience of adapting your work to incorporate other ideas? Looking at the final drawing, how would you describe the path that got you there? Was it linear? Was it a conversation? How could this exercise relate to research processes? And how can you envision using the library to support your creative practice and research? So you're welcome to jump in. We could have a little chat about it. If you have any reflection about these questions and the activity. So yeah, when we are doing it with our students. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I feel like someone's going to say something. No, okay. So as you can see from the reflection questions, we feel like this activity sets up a perfect metaphor for doing research. You know, even with all of the tricky technological things. Oh, I see a hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, I just thought it'd be easier to speak.
Yeah.
That was really great. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed that. I think what was in adapting the drawing, I think it was the reflection on the article that allowed me to not only see the article, but see how it fit the drawing. It was just a really great way of looking at the literature in a whole new way. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm just seeing some things in the chat too. Okay, hold on. I felt like looking at others' work helped me look at the prompts through a new lens, which is like interacting with academic literature on a topic. There's a question of what feedback we received from faculty. Okay, hold on. And then question 3, research is a conversation and collaborative drawing is a conversation. Yeah, so I'll talk about the feedback from faculty and students, but just to kind of think about those reflection questions, we're really trying to demonstrate with the activity that back and forth collaboration between other researchers, and then adding your own ideas, which came across in drawings, but in doing research, you're adding your own activities to the ideas of those who came before you. And then also being inspired by the ideas that came before you. And we're always trying to teach our students that when you start a research project, you might get completely sidetracked by being inspired by something else. And we felt like this was a really nice way of showing that you kind of have to let go in a way and let yourself be guided by what you're finding that's already out there. And we're also wanting students in our particular instance to think about how the library resources can be used to inspire their creative practice. So even though we're kind of thinking about it as a metaphor, doing the drawings is also trying to show the students that there are so many library resources out there that can inspire their creative practice and use all those library resources beyond writing academic papers. And I guess that's also kind of leading to that goal of trying to integrate more into our studio classes where students are actively making artwork, and they might not think that the library is a good resource for them beyond kind of like technique and people who were doing similar work before them, but there's all this other things out there that can inspire them in different ways. We're also finding that the workshop successfully teaches many aspects of the ACRL framework, including information creation as a process, research as inquiry, scholarship as conversation, and searching as strategic exploration. So how, here I need to go to my little debrief. So how has it been received? Well, the students, especially in the in-person workshop, are really happy to be actively doing something. Before, when we would give our first year presentation, we would be, like giving a database demo, we'd be doing some searches together, we'd be asking for them to provide us with keywords, and then we'd get silence. But this kind of forces them to be really active in the activity. We've also found that, especially with the in-person, it teaches the students to look for books using the Library of Congress call numbers, which I think for first-year students is really difficult. And it takes a really, really long time to get through that first round. But then the second round is so fast because they understand what they're looking for when they're looking for a call number. And then a lot of the students end up taking out the books because it's like this really nice serendipity exercise of finding things that they wouldn't otherwise look for in the library. And they're surprised by what they find and they take it home with them. And then the faculty just are always really happy when their students are actively learning in that way. So we've had really good feedback. Here, I did make some more notes before I just go off on a tangent. Make sure I cover everything. Right, so we've received great feedback. yeah, so having the active workshop sessions prevents those droopy eyes that can happen in the database demonstrations. And then have found that the online version, we're really trying to make all of our information literacy sessions work for both online and in person to make it equitable between the classes that are remote and not. And Jamboard it does feel like a little bit of a hurdle to kind of like get over the technical aspect of switching pages. And but so far it's the best solution that I've found. But I would love feedback if people have another tool that they think we should try, or if you think that the instructions could be clearer, or if you think that there's some way we could improve on the workshop. I would love to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to check the messages. Yeah, so those are a good point. The second round is key to moving from literacy to fluency. Yes. So how many rounds could you go? I mean, you could keep going. I find that I only ever really have an hour with a class, and it's tight to get through 2 rounds in an hour, especially in person, but it does work so much better when we're able to do 2 rounds. Yeah, so I'd love to hear any feedback. And then I'll also just put my contact information up here so that you can contact me as well. And then for the recording, if the middle part is cut out, I'll make sure that I've put these slides up somewhere for people to use them. David asks, when you show the Emily Carr database, is the publication date filter the only one you ask them to filter by? So when we do the in-person workshop, we ask them to filter by physical items only so that they're finding things on the shelves. And then we ask them to filter by, to magazine articles. So when we do the quick demonstration at the front, we're like showing them all the different filter options, but we ask them to, when it's the online version, I'm getting confused now. When it's the in-person version, we ask them to filter by physical materials, and then we have to show them how to find something in the catalog that's physically on the shelves as opposed to an ebook or a streaming video. So that's in person. Then online, we ask them to filter by full text, access, and then magazine article, because we were hoping that they would find more visual resources. And in person, actually, we made cue cards by cutting images out of magazines and then laminating them. So we lay them all out on the table and ask them to take a prompt, which is an actual physical image, and then they work from that prompt, which is also kind of a fun in-person change. So we had to, for the online version, we had to figure out a way to start that prompt. And then they are running out to the stacks, to find a book, and they bring it back. And I'm pretty sure that then when they switch books with another person. It's kind of, I think you can imagine if it's in person, it's a lot more tangible because you have a sheet of paper, we have pencil crayons, and we're like trading pieces of paper, which is a little bit easier than trading Jamboard pages. I also had a request just to share the link to the Jamboard again in the chat. What does our library instructional room look like? We do our instruction in our artist book room. So it's kind of like our special collections room with the special collections books in shelves around the space. And then we have tables that seat 4. We can fit about 25 students in there, I'd say. And there's a projector screen. Dave's asking if we have laptops or iPads, like personally as an instructor.
No, in that room,
Students.
Are you providing with like laptops or iPads to navigate the catalog?
They mostly use their phones, which I think is kind of great because it's the way they're going to probably be searching for things when they're, just in their everyday lives. And we actually do a quick demo, like I do a walk around with my own phone to show them how to use the limiter in the phone screen, because it's it can be harder to navigate.
And what's your ILS?
So our ILS is, our physical catalog is Sitka Evergreen that we're sharing with all of the other Sitka libraries. And then we have our EDS, our EBSCO discovery layer. We actually do the demo with the discovery layer, even though it would be easier for them just to search our OPAC, but it helps with that filtering piece. We're teaching the filtering piece.
I'm just gonna hop in and say thank you, Hillary. We have 2 minutes before lunch, so we have time for one more question if anyone has a final question, but otherwise, just I'll give a little bit of silence in case anyone has any last questions. Maybe we're all really excited for lunch. Thank you so much, Hillary. I had no idea what we were going to be doing in this workshop, and it was so much fun. And I feel like it's something that I can definitely take back to my practice, even though I don't teach any students who have anything to do with visual arts. So let's give Hillary a nice virtual round of Zoom applause. Or some great emojis in the chat, my preferred source of validation when I'm teaching online. We have a 45-minute lunch break now. So I'm gonna just leave the room open for lunch so you can leave and come back. You can also just mute yourself and keep it open. And we will be back at 12:45 for our next session, which is lightning talks.